Hi Libra, welcome to your April reading. I am doing a little spring cleaning back there, but we have our Easter vibe going. Happy Easter to all who are celebrating. Happy New Year to all who are celebrating. And happy spring to everyone. Whew. All right, Libra. Let's begin. If you're wondering why this look, well, it's fun and it'll make sense as the reading goes on. What we're not going to do is make ourselves look like a clown. I will look like a clown so you don't have to look like a clown. Okay? Now, oh, all these cards at once. Okay. Page of Pentacles, we start there. If you have had I'm gonna move you guys a little bit, okay? If you have had a bit of a difficult time renegotiating some financial agreement that you think should be more in your favor, this is absolutely the time to get it done. But I would like it if you would wait until after the 19th. When you have all the planets come into Taurus and meet with Uranus, you have this really magic energy, and that's when the renegotiating is key. If you do it before that, you run the risk of making yourself look like a clown. 3 of Cups. For those of you who have been experiencing some relationship difficulties, lack of trust or breakups, you do have the chance now to get back together with that person, or at least part amicably. And so this is a theme we're carrying over from the past few months. But if you're still in the midst of it, just remember that you're going to get a lot more done if you remember that there was a time when you really loved that person. So don't lose sight of the fact that it wasn't always like this. Try to find that, if not common ground, at least try to find some level of understanding for them. As difficult as it may be, even perhaps try to put yourself in their shoes. King of Wands. So by the end of the month, you are feeling like anyone who has any sort of control over you or wants you to do things specifically their way without taking your ideas into account, without taking your position into account. This may be someone who you outrank in a work situation. It could be someone who is much younger than you, but they're trying very hard to dominate you right now. If you feel that dominance where someone is trying to tell you how to do your job or how to live your life, this is your sign to move away from them. If you have to move away from that relationship, I think that that's best, because you have to think of your freedom first. If this means that you have to move out of their living situation, go for it. If you would like more power in any situation, you need to put some distance between you and them. That's simple enough. Now, the astrology supports this, and we'll also talk about the astrology. We've already talked about the reconciling. The 3 of Cups and the Page of Pentacles isn't necessarily reconciling. It's more like you know what this person is about, and although you don't want to be with them anymore, and that's totally understandable, it doesn't have to turn into something ugly, which you guys aren't prone to do anyway, but you do have your limits. And if you feel like someone has traversed your limits over the past few months where you're like, okay, I'm really trying to be nice, but you're not making this easy. Like, you're making me look like a clown. So now I either have to go ham on you or you've got to stop. There is a third solution. Move away from them. Take some distance. Understand that being amicable doesn't make you a clown. Understand that whoever is the most friendly and understanding right now is the one who's going to walk away with the most benefit. And then there's a lot of cards that fell out at once. Judgment is the next one out. There are a few people that you really want to tell them some stuff. Those of you who are single may find that the people that are attracted to you or the situations you're being put in romantically, they're not special enough, they're not deep enough, and there is something on your mind that you want to say. There's a new standard that you've set for yourself. You've recognized within yourself the need for something deeper, and you can't get upset with people for not knowing that if you don't say it. A lot of time Libra doesn't want to say stuff because then it's like you're exerting your will. And if you're exerting your will, then, the kind of equanimity that you look for socially will disappear, or you'll destroy it, or it'll seem like you're trying to impose your will. But ironically, you don't want to impose your will, but you can be quite pushy. So this is the time to actually take advantage of that side of you and say, hey, these are the things that I want. Don't shy away. Even if the connection seems potentially not deep enough for you, do them the favor and yourself of at least expressing what it is that you want. They might surprise you by saying, yeah, that's what I want too. I thought you didn't want that. I thought you were looking for something more casual. So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Because here's the truth of the matter. If it's going to be something deeper, then you saying something isn't going to matter anyway. It's just going to hurry the process along. And if it was never going to be deep and that's what you're looking for, then it's good that you're alienating them with the truth, because they're not for you anyway. It's not a bad thing to figure out what's not for you. Yes, you can take it as rejection. You can take it as pain. You can take it as an affront to you or some kind of reflection on you. Or you can take it for what it is and be grateful, which is yet another indication that, no, this isn't your lane. Your lane is more over here. So we should be grateful every time we are readjusted by the universe and put back in our lane. And then Page of Cups. It is very possible around the 19th to the 24th, actually starting around the 15th, that you meet someone just sweeps you off your feet. Like, wait. And then you want to be really honest with that person, like I said, about what you're expecting. Don't get so drawn in by someone that you become afraid to say what you want. No, this person's too hot. No, this person's too perfect. I don't want to scare them away. You can't scare someone who's for you away. You can't scare what is for you away, especially not with the truth. And then Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. So when Venus, the Sun, Mercury on the 22nd are all in relation to or transiting Taurus, where Uranus is sitting, you've got an opportunity that's very precarious. It's everything unexpected can happen. So you can use that to your advantage by being the wild card and being like, hey, this is when I want to ask for my raise, or hey, I think we should go out, or hey, I think we should have a baby, or I want to buy this house. Like, sudden impulsive decisions can be very sound, but at the same time, this can be a really confusing, fearful energy if you don't know what you want. So if you're just kind of messing around with someone, I would take that week off, because the chances of you ending up with serious consequences, pregnancy, God forbid an illness or something else, they're very, very high. Because that Uranus wild card is going to come in and really shake things up, especially when it meets up with Venus. So you just want to hedge your bets a little bit. If you know you're involved in something that you don't want to be in long term, you have many, many opportunities before the 22nd to throw them out the window or throw the situation out the window. But if you wait, you could end up with some consequences that you really don't want. Four of Wands, Three of Swords. For those of you, especially those of you who have a Libra rising or a Libra moon, your living situation may be causing you quite a lot of pain, and you're just trying to figure out how long you can stay in a situation where your heart is getting hurt so bad over and over again. So I know I said that there are a lot of you who can resolve things amicably at this time, and I want you to remember that here. I want you to remember that even though the situation you're in is causing you pain, don't take it out on the other person, because you are still either choosing to stay or you have no option but to stay, which means that you should actively be working on a solution. In either case, one or the other, you still need to put the responsibility squarely on yourself and not make your own situation more difficult by popping off on someone and blaming them for it. Don't antagonize anybody. Don't preach to anybody. Don't make anybody feel like you know what you're doing and everybody else is the one who needs to straighten up, right? Because it's not. And it will just put a halt to any of the progress that is available to you right now. And then 4 of Swords and the Lovers. If you get some real rest, you are capable of doing very big things at the end of April. That project that you have been procrastinating about, go ahead and get into it. That relationship that you really wanted to be in, but you weren't bold enough to speak up, speak up. That marriage, right, proposal that you want to make, do it. All of the things that are scaring you right now at the end of April make complete sense, and you're not afraid, and you have all this energy, and it's magical, and you can use it to really, at the risk of sounding cheesy, you can make your dreams come true. But I want to redirect you once again to this look, because every single opportunity you have to win in April is also an opportunity you have to make a fool out of yourself and make yourself look like a clown. It's about timing, it's about tone of voice, it's about accepting the small wins but winning the larger battles, accepting the losses but winning the war, using your talent of being super friendly and easy to talk to your advantage, which a lot of times I do sit back and watch you guys. Like, okay, when someone is really rude to you, you know how to handle it. When someone is treating you badly, you know how to handle it. But when it comes to your love situation where you really could be using that sweetness and that likability to your advantage, you have a tendency to take out the swords and want to just cut everybody. And it's like, no, but if you just applied what you do with 99% of the world to this one person or to this one situation, it would turn out just as great. But you guys do have a hard time because it's such a sensitive place, right? It's such a sensitive button. And when someone presses that button, they know exactly what they're going to get. Around the new moon on the 12th, you get a preview of this. You understand how people know where to push you to get what reaction. And you may find around the new moon that you're thinking, especially in terms of work, am I being manipulated? Am I the clown? How did I get to be the clown? I'm in the right. That's what'll make you a clown if you pop off, if you're antagonistic, if you're preaching to people, is that even though you're in the right, you're the one who makes yourself wrong. Don't do it. Bottom of the deck, Strength and the Hanged Man. We'll go into these when we take a look at the cards. Yes? I love you. Hi Libra, welcome to the second part of your April reading. All right, so for the first few days of April until the 12th, until the new moon, you really are trying to find a way to patch things up. If there's still love between you and someone, a friend, an ex-spouse, a spouse, someone at work that you just can't get along with and there's been some sort of a blow up, you're trying to find ways to reconcile. And although that's great, and you are willing to put your disappointment to the side, when you get to the 12th, your priorities change. It's like, okay, that's how much time I could give this. And I gave it, and now the ball is squarely in somebody else's court, and they can do what they want. And you turn your focus to the Three of Wands. But I want you to go back to that Page of Pentacles and Three of Cups for a second. So those of you who are willing to give it another shot may feel like you're starting from the bottom again, Page of Pentacles, and that's okay. That's okay. What's not okay is turning the reconciliation into a sort of drug. Reconciliation as a form of self-medicating or self-soothing, going back to a person who continues to hurt you because you don't feel like you can cut it on your own. This is something that as of the 12th, you move away from, 3 of Wands. And you have a lot to say about it. You have a lot to say to the people around you. You have a lot to say to someone you meet who's much different, much more real. You have a lot to say when unexpected situations come up. You're willing to deal in a way that you didn't feel strong enough to before. Your self-esteem through these past really difficult months has skyrocketed because I think you've proven to yourself, like, hey, I can do this, you know? Like, I don't need people as much as I thought I did. So for those of you who are like, yeah, but I'm in a really happy relationship. Okay, great. So for you guys, there's a couple of things you need to look at. Let's go back to that Page of Pentacles again. Where in your relationship are you not happy? 3 of Cups. Where in your relationship are you tolerating things from your partner that you know are not good for them and consequently not good for you? These are things that can be easily talked about, easily patched up, because again, 3 of Wands, Judgment, you have very high self-esteem right now. You've been through some stuff that has given you some strength. Now, 2 of Swords, that's that 10 steps forward, 20 steps back, overthinking coming in. So it's easy right now, instead of asserting your will, to be annoying and deceptive. Annoying because you don't want to really confront what's going on, and deceptive because you'd rather just tell people what they want to hear, so you don't have to make a firm decision on things. You're going to have to do both. So being annoying and deceptive is not going to save you from the decisions you have to make. Instead, wait until the 12th and then make some bold decisions, make some new moves. And don't wait on anyone. If you've been waiting on that Page of Cups to come through and say, hey, now I'm ready and now I want to do business, or now I want to, now I want to be together, or now I understand. By the time you get to the 12th, you're like, okay, I just got clear. I just cleared my head. I just figured out the direction I want to go in. And here you come trying to confuse me all over again. I'm really not down with this. And you're going to have this moment of, I don't appreciate this. This is not good for my life. This is disruptive. Your lack of interest, or my perceived lack of your interest, is messing with my flow, and I don't appreciate this and I don't want it. Conversely, there are some of you who in long-term relationships now get asked to take it to the next level and you don't really want to. You don't really want to. You're confused by the idea of it. So instead of getting up on this high horse and saying, okay, well, I have things figured out, because that's just going to lead you to break your own heart, you can just, nicely let them go. You don't have to lord over them that you figured out a better way, because every time you get into that overconfident space, that superiority complex space, things go very, very wrong. And need I remind you that there's no such thing as a superiority complex. It's just an inflated inferiority complex. The thinking being that if you believe there is a hierarchy of people and value in those people, then you must, by definition, believe that there is someone also higher than you. If you think you're better than people, then there must be, logic tells us, someone better than you. This is the problem with thinking that you're better than people. I'm not saying that you do that. I'm saying that you can appear that way when you find your direction and you start walking in it. As soon as Libra figures out how to do something, Libra looks at everybody else like they're dumb because they haven't figured it out. Don't do that. I know that stinks, but you still need it. So, you want it all as of the 22nd. What didn't make sense and what was kind of all up in the air, you're like, no, I know exactly what I want. Perfect. Now, don't let what you want break your heart. What do I mean by that? I mean, when you get fixated on something, now I want this and this is what I want. And it has to be that thing from that store or that thing from that job or that thing from that person. Instead of a blanket acceptance of the abundance coming to you with a conscious knowing that there is a specific type of thing that you want, but you're still open and receptive to all of it. This is different. This is what Carolyn Casey and a lot of other people call tantrum yoga. We're not doing that. You don't get to, lay down on the floor and kick your feet because it didn't come in exactly the way you wanted it to. This is also why I'm advising you earlier in the month not to lord it over people that you figured out what you want to do. Because when you get here, none of those people will help you then. Right? Because you made a big noise about them not being as cool as you. So don't do that. You want people on your side. You want people to support you. And the way that you do that is you commiserate with them. So if you found your path and you're very happy with it, help them find theirs. How do you get out of this fear? Now things are starting to work out. Now what do I do? I often tell my clients that get readings from me, it's never when things are going bad that people call. When it's almost as if people expect things to get worse. It's when things start to go right. It's when their manifestations start to show up in their physical reality that they completely bug out. So this, again, 10 steps forward, 20 steps back, this is normal. This is not to chastise you, but there is a way around it. If you are clear on what you want, stop thinking. Put those swords up for a while. Focus on something else. Now, what is the Lovers? It's fun. It's spur of the moment. It's improvised. It's the wind. It's the air. Right? As an air sign yourself, as cardinal air, you understand this, right? It is the ever-changing sky. You don't have to be one thing. You don't have to enjoy one way. The abundance doesn't have to come in just the way you want. And I understand being a perfectionist and being very particular makes it very difficult for you to accept your manifestations because they don't always show up in the package you want them to. And perhaps that's part of the lesson, especially in April. There is so much unexpected. Pregnancy especially. So if you're not trying to do that, you need to be really, really careful. Between the 15th and the 19th, when Venus and the Sun and Mercury are all moving into Taurus, you have this overblown sense of self that you can use to your advantage by going after all the things that you want in a really smart, diplomatic way and using your best attributes, right? Sending those emails, making those calls, wearing those outfits, being at the right place at the right time. These are all Libra things. And you can achieve them, and you can achieve great promotion and growth through that. But it's just as easy for all of those planets to move into Taurus and start their conjunctions with Uranus by the 22nd, and all of a sudden you're overwhelmed. 3 of Swords, and you don't know what to do with any of it. That's also okay. Rest. The last thing you want to do is make hasty decisions in April. But that doesn't mean you stay in a state of indecision until someone else says, hey, maybe you should do this, because then they have you. And that's oftentimes how people get to you, is they can see that you're having indecisive moments, and even if they're faking their resolve, it's appealing to you because you don't have it. And so people who are not supposed to be around you, people who are not simpatico with you, can really influence your life in a terrible way just by, pretending, faking that resolve that you lack. Okay, so April's also a lesson for you in how to see yourself clearly and to deal with others keeping that in mind. A lot of times Libra will deal with others like they actually don't have any needs or feelings and everything's fine. You'll just make yourself adjust. Like when you're kids and your parents take you to a party and you fall asleep in the corner because they're not leaving. You know, you do that to yourself a lot. And April, especially after the 12th, April is like, no, you deserve some attention. You deserve your own love. And part of that, a big part of that, is resting and not being enticed by the trolls out there to engage in things that are a time waste. Right? Okay. Well, in the extended, we're going to take a look at this Gemini, at that Earth sign, the Knight of Pentacles, at that Leo at the bottom of the deck. We're going to go through and clarify for each card. The extendeds have been generally between 20 and 30 minutes. And if you do not want to go to Vimeo every time to get the video, you can subscribe to the Patreon tier for Libra or Libra plus the ZA. Libra is your early part 1, which was out almost 2 weeks ago, your early part 2, your early extended, and then the Libra plus the ZA tier, and this is confusing for some people, is all the stuff I just mentioned, plus our daily walks, or every other day, I should say. So every other day on Insta, we do an 8 to 10 kilometer walk, and that is then uploaded to Patreon. We talk about all sorts of stuff. It's actually more like a walking meditation podcast, workout motivation. It's really cool. And you can subscribe to those by themselves, or you can subscribe to that along with your readings. So the Libra plus the ZA tier is that. Okay, and if you like these rings, ta-da-da, they have finally come in. This is the Empress in green onyx, and we now have the small sizes, all right? And finally, we have the World. And these are plated in 20 karat gold, and then they're covered on top of that so they don't, lose their luster and shine. And these will both be available for pre-sale soon. I will put the pre-sale link up below, as well as the Quietest Revolution rings link, an Instagram link where you can check out RevFam wearing the rings. And last but not least, if you are interested in a look at the astrology and the daily transits of the day, if you're interested in the astrological transits of the day is what I meant, and how they affect your sun, moon, and rising, come on over to @thequietestrevolution on Insta and join the RevFam, where every day, what is wrong with me today? We do a daily horoscope and we have a lot of fun. Okay. Love you, love you, love you. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's also these bracelets. And one more thing. My fave, this earring that can be worn at any length that you want. These are part of the Nazar collection. This is a silk cord with the same 20 karat gold plating as this delicate thing also. And these are handmade glass eyes. Okay? Cool. Love you. I'll see you in your extended right now. Bye.